How you doing, man?
I'm good. And you, Dave?
Good,
There we
good.
go.
How's it, Dave?
Did you watch the
How's it,
rugby?
Dan? No, no. We've already done this. The rugby was cancelled. Ah,
The rugby was cancelled already, eh? Down to gastro or sickness or something. So it's actually a good thing because I'm going to play it at the Lions Ellis Park and I couldn't be there because I was away. So hopefully they reschedule for Saturday. I can be there. It's a great day out.
no. That's cool.
Oh,
Yeah,
so there's
apparently we should have all been watching F1 this weekend, but I also didn't do that.
oh, is it? What did you do?
No.
Just chill, eh?
Well, we had the event on Saturday, which ran quite long. It was good. Yeah, full breakfast with the Cape Town Sapling members. Nice and busy. Robin Booth was there. Red One Buster was there.
Oh, nice.
So really, really nice group of people. A couple of developers coming into the room, talking about some deals. So there's movement. Cape Town's got deals.
Yeah, it's very good, eh?
That's
Nice.
awesome, man.
And how many were there? About 15 of you, eh?
Yeah, about 15, 20 or so. It's good.
Okay, great. And I know Nico had an event as well here in Joburg. They went to go view a few properties of Craig Urbans and a few other deals, and I think they closed a few deals, which is awesome. And so things are happening, which is good to see. So now let's just see if anyone's joined us. If you have just joined us, this is the coffee chat with Dave, Dan, and myself, and it's all about property. And today's going to be awesome because we're talking about Airbnb. In about 5 minutes' time, I will be bringing Bruce up because Bruce is from Joburg. He's been a Sapling for a number of years, and Bruce has done an Airbnb in Belita. So I want to know from all of you, let us know what your property strategy is, and especially if it's Airbnb, or do you want to venture into Airbnb? And we will be talking about the Roadshow in Durban this week. So just a big shout out to all the Durbanites out in Pietermaritzburg and Durban. But just tag a friend, and if you know anyone in the Durban area, anyone that is interested in a property, tag them now. Let them know about this coffee chat because we will be talking about the Roadshow in Durban. But if you know of anyone that's interested in Airbnb, the strategy, now's a chance to ask questions. How did Bruce find the deal? How do you negotiate the deal? It's going to be a great conversation. But before we do bring Bruce up, Dave, you spoke about your Cape Town event last week, Saturday. I heard it was a big success. Well done. That's awesome. Good to see guys are still networking. And then this week, so actually, tomorrow night, Dave, talk about the Mastermind.
100%. So tomorrow night, same time, same place as usual. Andrew, myself, and a few other coaches will be hosting the Mastermind. So there is a section for the youth guys. So Daniel and Jason will generally run youth. Dan, hopefully you're going to show up.
What's that supposed to be?
When last did you show up?
It's been a couple of months.
Didn't Dave get stuck in the elevator at one of those events?
Yes. that was a poll webinar. But yeah, so Mastermind tomorrow night starts at 6, runs until about 7:30 or so. Depends how long Andrew takes. All professional members are invited, and also happen youth members are invited. So it's a really good opportunity to spend some time with each other, talk about our goals, talk about what's holding us back, and set some goals for the next month. And we'll talk about some accountability partners, which is always good.
Awesome. Sounds good. That's tomorrow night at 6 o'clock if you are a pro member and the youth. Okay, great. And then, Dave, I'm flying to Durban with Daniel on Wednesday morning. We are going straight to South Africa on Wednesday to discuss the event at the South Africa branch for the Thursday night, the 27th. We are going to Pietermaritzburg, though, on Wednesday night. And we've got a nice little restaurant there, and all the investors in Pietermaritzburg must be there. So again, if you know of anyone that's in the Pietermaritzburg area, Wednesday night, the 26th, myself, Daniel, and Tandor, who's a new host out in that area, will be there talking about property and what are the plans for 2023 as well. And then Wednesday, we'll be meeting Absa Bank in South Africa and Uber Home Loans, all our partners. And Thursday night is the main event. That's at the South Africa, what I call it, showroom, boardroom, South Africa shop in Belito on Thursday night. So shout out to all the Durbanites. Come say hi. I'll be there. Dan Mauritian Robus is coming through. Bruce Lee, he will bring on in a minute, will be there as well. And Dave, is that it for the week, eh?
That's it for the week. I know we wanted to see if we could get some ITY judging squeezed in there as well. So hopefully, if there are any contestants for Investor of the Year Award 2023, we'll be doing some judging around lunchtime on Thursday.
Okay, absolutely. I think Robin Booth said he's got another student who may want to enter. Bruce Lee has to enter now. going to make him into the investor of the year. Like, oh,
You say no.
Bruce, you haven't got a choice this time. So we're going to try and get a few Durbanites to pitch their deal. So we were at Bloemfontein last week. We had 3 great pitches. In fact, the one pitch in Bloemfontein was bloody good. Hey?
Jeez,
In fact,
the best.
looking at that, I'm going, people are going to struggle to beat this guy. So it's really good to start with some good pitches. And then, of course, Bruce Lee's pitching this week, so we'll see how his compares. But I think, Dave, if there's no other event that we're going to talk about now, because, yes, we are in Cape Town, but that's the 9th of November, so 2 weeks' time for all the Cape Townians, and then we're in Port Elizabeth towards the middle end of November. I think that is it, Dave.
Yeah, I'm going to put the link in the chat box real quick. I'm just busy trying to fix it. And yeah, so all the information's on the website. You can go to join to sapropertyinvestorsnetwork.com/events, or when you're on the website, you can just hit the events button. You can see everything. Everything is up over there. What's happening, what's coming up. I'll probably still need to remove last week's events off of there, but yeah, it's all up there. Check the link in the chat box, and we can go going forward.
Cool. Sounds like a plan. So, Dave, let's bring on Bruce. Get Bruce to introduce himself, and we can start chatting about Airbnb. How's it, Bruce?
Hi, David. Oh, sorry, Andrew. Dave.
How's it going?
Good. Thanks to you guys.
Cool, man. Good. So, Bruce, thanks for joining us. I was just telling the audience there about the Roadshow coming up this week, and that you based here in Joburg, aren't you, Bruce? But you have an Airbnb in Durban.
Yeah.
Interesting. So maybe start by introducing yourself.
Yeah, sure. So I'm Bruce, and I joined Sapin somewhere around January of 2020. So I went through the full course, and had my one-day workshop, I think, in Feb with you, just before lockdown. So that was pretty interesting. So from there, I looked at a few property deals, was involved in some potential multi-lets that really didn't go my way. Did do some refurbs though, and I do have single buy to let, and then decided to take a look at Airbnb, which is what I did earlier in 2022. So I think I started off my Airbnb this year in July. On the 1st of July, it actually went live. Yeah.
And
so it's
sorry.
No, that's fine. I wanted to say it's actually in between Belito and Mhlanga, so it's in the Mhlote area. Yeah.
Oh, nice. But now tell me, what made you go down the road of Airbnb?
I think so. After I did the course, I was actually so intrigued by the course that I just started watching and stopped when it was finished. I literally just did the entire thing in almost one sitting. So I thought, okay, this strategy seems really interesting, and I don't want to say easy, but quick to implement. And I mean, the strategies and the processes are given to you. You follow the rules and the guidelines. You can almost work out what your risks are going to be. And then I thought, okay, this is something that I can see myself doing, even though it's far away from me. There are ways to manage those things. So I thought, okay, this is going to be a good strategy. Let's just go ahead and give this a try. Yeah.
Awesome. That's so cool, Bruce. Just on that, you touched upon assessing some of the risks. Could you share a bit of like some of the assessments you did, the risk assessments, what comes with an Airbnb, particularly one where it isn't as close as you would like, right? Seeing that you are based in Johannesburg.
Okay. So for me, whenever I've been looking at any property opportunities, it's always been better to have them close by. That just feels better to me. But with Airbnb, when you go through the course, you're given the websites you can use to analyze what your potential earnings are going to be. You can check what your occupancy rates are going to be. There are tools that you're given about how to manage different check-ins, things like that. So your automations and stuff. So you pretty much have a really good idea about what's happening with other properties within the area. And then you can analyze other Airbnb listings yourself. So check out their dates, check out their pricing, and then you can make an informed decision about what's really happening in the market. So you're working with real information. And I suppose information is what supports any decision.
Definitely, yeah. If you have just joined us, by the way, ladies and gents, we are here with Bruce, who's busy doing an Airbnb unit, was done Airbnb strategy, following him doing the Robin Booth online course, which you can access through the Property Academy. So if you do have any questions, and I can see that there are a couple of questions for Bruce, which we'll bring up just now. I first just want to ask, in your opinion, Bruce, some people say that you can do Airbnb everywhere, Joburg, Pretoria, like all across the country. And some people I meet say, no, that's rubbish. You should only do Airbnb at the coastal towns. What's your opinion?
So I think that that's actually really a twofold answer, though, Andrew. So while I was analyzing Airbnbs, I did look at inland markets as well. But within inland, there are certain areas that just aren't really feasible, like the East Rand. We know you like it, Andrew, but it's just,
what's that? Be careful what you say about the East Rand.
well, it really just wasn't feasible for Airbnb at the point that I was analyzing it. But when you look at other areas like the fourways and places like that, some of those do have really good offerings. But coastal just seems to be really, really good for opportunities. So I think that the answer would be yes or no. It does depend on the area, not to say that you can't do anything inland.
No, sure, definitely.
Yeah.
Awesome. Bruce, just a question when you are reviewing the Airbnb, right? So you've got a unit or a property, and when you were comparing some of the opportunities that property can provide, say long-term rental, so you've got one tenant or what have you, guaranteed rent. I think a big risk with Airbnb is around occupation and when looking at an area to do Airbnb, what are some tips you can give? Is it like an area with like a 70% occupancy? And how do you stress test your deal? Say, if you get, say, 30%, can you still pay off some of the expenses that comes with the units?
Okay, so I think that just like with any property deal, you have to decide what your indicators are going to be. So when you've set those indicators, you can do your analysis according to that. So if you know that your rental, for instance, is going to be 10,000 Rand, your daily rates on average are only 1,000 Rand. If you're looking at occupancies that are 30%, you really have to wonder whether you're going to cover your costs. So generally, I think looking at anything that has an occupancy below 60% is not really feasible. It depends on what your daily rates are going to be. It could be. So it's actually really difficult to give a direct answer on that. It would depend on what your indicators are going to be. But as far as costs are involved, generally you would have water, electricity, Wi-Fi, your cleaning, which you're charging additionally, plus laundry and things like that. So all of these are costs that you can know upfront and work those into what your return is going to be. Because like any other deal where you have a return on investment, you should be doing exactly the same for your Airbnb analysis.
Awesome. Makes sense. Sure. Thanks.
Yeah.
Cool. So just looking there, what's up, Bruce?
So you'd asked a question earlier, Andrew, and I don't think that I answered that yet about how you find and negotiate your actual Airbnb deals. So that pretty much boils down to the same thing as area research as we would do for any other property investments. So you would take a look at your different areas on the ADNA website, where you can see what the occupancies and rates are. You then drill in further to smaller suburbs and things like that. So pretty much the same way that you would with just doing your feasibility study on areas for property investment. And then from there, you go through your normal process, build relationships, contact agents, try and view those properties. Yeah.
Very interesting. Dave, are there any questions from the audience there?
We got the one question that came in from Pietermaritzburg. It's a fairly practical question. So Pietermaritzburg is wondering, for Bruce, how did you manage to find and source a cleaning team for your Ballito property? I guess in general, how did you generally go through that process, whether it's in Ballito or not?
Okay, so I think that's the simplest way to actually go about this, is to find local groups in the area that you want to do your Airbnb in. People will post on there about their cleaning services. You can contact other hosts, ask about their experience with cleaning services, and then from there you just follow the Airbnb course has got guidelines on it as well, contracts for cleaners. Those all give you really, really good tips of things that you should consider. So as for finding the cleaners, local groups, directories, Google.
That's the only other questions that we got in at the moment. So you guys do any other questions for Bruce? Do make sure to send them through while we still have him. Yeah, Drew, that's about it for now.
Send them through, Andre. So, Bruce, I'm going to ask you to talk a bit more about what is involved or included in Robin Booth's course. And then, Andre, what you must do is I'll connect you to Alani and we'll send you some information. Just pop us your email address, Andre, if you can, and we'll give you all the information. But, Bruce, you obviously went through the course with Robin Booth through the Property Academy. Tell us, I don't know how many modules were there. What does he give you? What kind of support do you get? What kind of videos are they?
Okay, so I think it's the advanced course, which means that you get the free Airbnb course, plus you get part 1 and 2, I believe. And in there, you really start all the way from the fundamentals through to what kind of automations you can set up, things like that. So when we speak about fundamentals, that's really about researching your area, how you find that information, where you can find statistics on your occupation rates, what the daily rates are. You'll get information on how to find cleaners. You'll get some setup lists about furniture that's required, what sort of automation you should set up with regards to messaging, some tips about getting your reviews and how to actually do your startup strategy, because that's what it's called when you begin. So doing your startup strategy to get those reviews, get superhost status or whatever the case may be for your startup strategy that you're busy with. And then, yeah, like I said, all the way through to things like shopping lists that you need for furniture, what you should have, the type of linen, tips about things that you should and shouldn't do for Airbnb. So yeah, it's pretty comprehensive. I mean, you really do get all of the information that you need in the course.
Yeah, which is awesome, eh? And Bruce,
Yeah.
I know quite a few people have done it. Craig lives here in the East Rand of Durban, and he's getting Airbnb to work on his unit.
Yeah.
He's specifying.
Yeah.
And he's busy doing a unit in Belito, Bruce. So I want to go and look at his units on Wednesday or Thursday to see where the location is, how he's doing it. He's busy, I think, putting a new kitchen in, new bathroom in. So there's quite a lot of people doing Robin Booth's course. And as far as I'm aware, there's been 100% success rate, which is great. And that's why, Bruce, I've asked you to join us on Thursday night, the 27th of October, which is this Thursday. It's a few nights. We're in Durban, right, at the Tel Africa. What are you going to be speaking about at the Tel Africa event this Thursday?
Yeah, so I'm excited to be joining that event as well. What I'll be speaking about is just some of my experiences within the entire process. I'll also speak a little bit about some of the statistics related to my unit. So what sort of occupancy I've seen, what sort of occupancy the numbers said I should have seen, just to show everybody that, listen, when you actually do your research, what you see is what you'll get. So I'll talk about some of the returns that I've made there. Yeah, and just some general tips, things I've learned along the way. And also maybe just discuss short-term rental as an option as opposed to just Airbnb, because it's not all just about Airbnb. The course does speak about other short-term rental options as well. And those are all actually really valid platforms that should be used. Yeah. So those are some of the things I'll be talking about on Thursday.
Awesome. Thanks, Bruce. Super exciting. Now, before we give you more questions, there's a question from Unati, but we'll do it just now. Let's go into what is happening this week, what's happening tomorrow night, what's happening during the week, and then we'll come back. And then, Bruce, let's also have the rent-to-rent conversation. Let's have the insurance conversation on Airbnb. How does that work? There is a question from Unati, but we'll come back to that. So, Dave, talk to us about what's happening this week.
Yeah, 100%. So, like we said earlier, mastermind tomorrow. So that's from 6 until about 7:30. So mastermind. So professional members and SAP and youth members can join the mastermind as a opportunity to network, meet each other, set some goals, share, and get some feedback on what's happening. We've got Drew. You'll be in Pietermaritzburg on Wednesday afternoon, evening. So that's 6:30 until about 9. A really good opportunity to network, meet guys in Pietermaritzburg. I know Pietermaritzburg is a small market, so hopefully we'll meet some new people over there. It's going to be good. And then Thursday night, Drew, you'll be in Durban at the Tile Africa showroom, and running another event there on Thursday night, also 6:30 until about 9-10 o'clock.
Yeah, that'll be great. So let me know right now, everyone, who is from Durban. If you are from Durban, let me know. Miguel's just joined us. How's it, Miguel? Hope you're well. If you are from Durban, let us know, please. And let us know if you'll be coming, or if you know of anyone in Durban, please quickly tag them in now. And we'll be with Bruce for another plus minus 10 minutes. So if you have any questions with regards to Airbnb short-term letting, now's your chance to answer. But maybe let's take Unati's question, eh?
Yeah, 100%. So Nati had a good question over here. So from Nati, Bruce, what challenges have you encountered within the Airbnb space? How many units are you managing at the moment?
Okay, so I only have my one unit that I started in July. I'm actually in the process of sourcing another unit as we speak. I'm hoping for it to be ready and up for the December holidays. Right. So as for challenges, Airbnb, I'm sure if you do the course, you'll know that insurance with Airbnb is great. So you don't really have to be concerned about anything. You can set up restrictions on bookings. So you have to have a profile photo. You have to have booked before. All those kind of tips that you'll learn out of the Airbnb course. But when you use platforms or other platforms like Booking.com, they don't have such restrictions. Booking.com does not have insurance. I have faced challenges with Booking.com guests before that have some real nice parties in your unit and leave you some real nice surprises. Yes, when your crew arrives. So those things do happen, but I'm sure that you all know as well that no property journey is without its challenges. It's the resolution of those challenges that bring about your success or your profits. So it's all about solving the problems that you face. I had one set of guests that checked in like that. And since then, most of my business comes from Booking.com. I don't experience those issues anymore. So I think it's about implementing whatever you need to combat those situations. So yeah, the challenges do happen. Water goes off, electricity goes off. The guests expect to have water and electricity. You should just resolve it. These are real things, but all solvable problems. Yeah.
Definitely. And what else around that, hey, Dan, did you want to ask?
Yeah, so I'm super interested like in the automation side of things. And Andrew, you speak about this a lot. Like there's like the old-fashioned way of doing Airbnb, and then there's new, like where it will not totally be passive, but it does like you can add different elements to ensure that even though you're not present with, it is professional. The guests are able to maneuver around. So what are some of the like if you could give like a tip or two that you've done personally to help automate that whole process from bookings to checking in and all that?
Okay, so the Airbnb course does speak about platforms that you can use. So I'm not sure about the exact term that's used for that right now. A platform manager, actually, where you can connect your Airbnb, your Booking.com, whatever it is that you need to connect there. And that can really drive your automations from the time that guests have made their booking, some days before check-in, day of check-in, checkout messages to your cleaners. So that's really comprehensive. There are platform managers available like that can be used. But even within the platforms themselves, like Airbnb and Booking.com, you can set up some quick replies there. You can set up some messaging templates there. Also some automations. A lot more limited than using the platform managers, but those things do exist. And other than that, I think have backups, have backups for whatever you implement, so that if something happens, you have something that you can you can rely on, just to make sure that everything does still run smoothly. So sometimes you can't get to guest messages. Make sure that you have a backup plan for that, so that your guest still gets the experience that they should be getting, right? So yeah, platforms for automation, I think that works the best. And if you're not going to use platforms, then set up your quick replies and templates. Yeah.
And I remember last time I went to Durban, Bruce, this year, I think in March, and I stayed in an Airbnb in Ballito, and I had to fetch my keys from the garage just off the highway. If I stay in your Airbnb, am I going to the garage?
No, so I would suggest probably self check-in wherever possible if you can implement it at your Airbnb. Not all Airbnbs can have self check-ins, so the complex that my unit is in cannot have a self check-in. We're not allowed to install lockboxes and things like that. But the complex does have 24-hour security, and you can get a hosting service or something like that to take care of that process as well. So I make use of a similar thing myself. So there's a caretaker at the complex where my unit is. So whenever guests arrive, they give him a call. He manages a lot of the units within the complex, and you make a small contribution from your booking for him to take care of that. So yeah, guests are received professionally, then handed the keys, shown the unit, all really nice. So yeah, there are different options available, but keys in a box, no good.
Okay, cool. No, sounds good. And Dave, there are quite a few questions coming through now from Masana, Miguel, and Gordon. So let's start going through those questions, eh?
Yeah, 100%. So the question from Masana about the Airbnb: are you doing the rental arbitrage or co-hosting? And based on the person who cannot afford to start from the bottom, which one would you recommend as for students?
Okay, so I am actually doing rental arbitrage. So I'm doing rent to rent on my unit. So I think that affordability, I suppose, does play a role. So not all landlords are open to rental arbitrage. Sometimes you do have challenges. I think it's about finding the right one. So if you go through the course, there are also explanations there about doing things like that. And I just think it's about showing them the feasibility of it, and that it's possible. But if you're not able to manage the affordability and get the Airbnb lease through your own name, then I suppose co-hosting would be an option as well. Or if you could host for other guests, if you had the knowledge that you needed, not for other guests, for other Airbnb hosts, and take your portion of that. Yeah.
Excellent. And Dave, does that answer one of the other questions in the Gordon Ralph or not?
Yeah, I'm just busy reading that.
Well, let's just bring it up anyway.
Yeah, I think maybe this handles the arbitrage a little more directly, and I think this is worth mentioning that this is one of the things that we definitely discuss on the Airbnb course hosted by Robin Booth. But at the end of the day, part of the process of doing rental arbitrage, regardless of whether it's Airbnb or not, you're going to have to negotiate with a landlord. Yeah. So, Bruce, how's that negotiation gone with you? What tricks or techniques do you maybe have to share?
So I did get some support while I was going through my Airbnb process, and I think that helped a lot. So besides for doing the course, I did get other support for that as well. And for me, I think the key learning that I had was that everything should just be a conversation. So you should just have a conversation with the estate agent. If you can get in front of the landlord themselves, then do that. So many of them were resistant. Some agents will just tell you straight up, no, it's not going to happen. They don't want to hear anything about it, right? It's just no. They don't want to speak to their landlord. So I think the best is always to get direct to source. And if you can get direct to source, then you can have a discussion with them. Tell them, these are the statistics. There's insurance. You'll have better cover. We'll look after your property because we're giving the guest an experience. So all of those things are valid points, and you'll take care of the maintenance. You don't want a guest who's going to be complaining about something silly, So ultimately, they're almost getting something better than having a long-term rental. So, but these are also things that are spoken about in the course. So when you do the course, you'll have these guidelines available as well. So, but once again, like I said, it's about building those relationships, getting in front of the right agents or the right landlords.
And Bruce, tell me, would you mind if Dave shares his screen and we show people your Airbnb unit?
So this picture on the background is actually the view from my Airbnb unit's patio. So it is right on the beach. So I'm happy for Dave to go ahead and share that. Yep.
So I'll just watch that. You got it
I'm
there.
just getting it open. Yeah.
Okay.
And then once we've done that, we can answer Miguel's question about what is your strategy with focusing on the coast. Bruce did kind of cover that earlier, but we'll go through it again. But Dave, take us through the Airbnb listing. It looks amazing.
Yeah, Bruce, I don't know if you want to direct me in a certain way, or if you just want me to run through a couple of photos of the listing.
So I think, yeah, so if you pull up the listing, I think on the cover page, before you get to the pictures though, Dave, yeah, so you'll see some of the strategies that are spoken about in the actual course when you just look at the listing already. So there have been some changes and updates to the Airbnb platform, but these updates also exist in the course. So you'll see that I have some text there on my cover picture, which you land on. That's just because some of the descriptions that were previously available are no longer there. And then you'll see key things that we start to take a look at, that you're given advice about in the course. So things like dedicated workspace, what's the location, do you have Wi-Fi? If you just scroll down a bit, Dave, you'll see you load a nice description about your unit, draw attention, key points. So I speak about some really nice things about the area there. Then load your pictures saying, what do the bedrooms look like where you'll sleep? What is it that you're offering? Things like that. So these are all spoken about in the course. Make sure that you have the right amenities. These are on your furniture lists, things you should have in your Airbnb. So if you want to pop over to the pictures, I think we can just take a look there. I can see that these pictures need a little bit of an update. Some things have changed at the unit in the meantime, but I think you can start at the cover page or wherever that's going to be if you scroll up. So probably right there if you just scroll up, Dave, on the first picture or something like that, all the way to the top.
Cool.
There we go. So there where it says living room on the small thumbnail. Oh, okay, I see that larger. But anyway, we can look at them like this as well. So yeah. So lounge, dining room, TVs, kitchens. Yeah, I think if you make sure that if guests have the amenities that they would usually have in their own homes to make things comfortable, I think that's what they need to have.
Very nice.
Very nice.
The course also talks about dressing the unit, things that should be available there. So as you go through the course, if you look at the course, there are pictures there as well on the course. You'll realize a lot of the things in my pictures actually come from the course. How to set out your unit. Yeah.
100%.
And Daniel asked me now if we stay in there this week, and I said no, I tried, but Bruce was just
sorry.
Oh, Bruce, dude, what's up?
Sorry. Yeah. So my unit is it's actually been really, really busy. So like I mentioned in my other video that I'd made already, for this, when I started my startup strategy, I was able to make money from day one. So I went through the process and I've paid rental and services and everything every single month. And it's been picking up really well going close to the holiday season. So I'll definitely be smiling in December.
Yeah. Definitely. Yes. And I think of a question, and I see Umpo asked the same question. Did you have to furnish the place yourself, or did you rent it like that? The couches were there, the beds were there.
Okay, so for this specific unit, I wasn't really specific when I started on my search about whether I wanted furnished or unfurnished. I was just really set on getting a unit. So this unit was unfurnished. I had to furnish this unit, but for my next unit, what I'm really trying to do is to find an already furnished unit. I think that the ROI on that is going to be, I think, potentially a lot better. So, once I'm closer to actually getting that, I'll take a look at how those indicators are actually going to work out. So you can do either in your strategy. It really just depends what you're going to find. I would recommend furnished though, if you could, looking back at how this process went.
Cool, definitely. Question from Eric.
Does the summer income months make up for the winter months? So how are you finding the balance?
Okay, so I think because I started my Airbnb on the 1st of July, we were already in winter, and I was also busy with startup strategy. So I think it's difficult to really give a comparison now. But what I will say is, even with my startup strategy rates, I was able to make enough money off of my Airbnb unit. But with the increase in the going into summer rates already, I've already seen a significant difference. And with analyzing what other hosts in the area are charging, and the increase that I've made to my rates already for this adjustment, plus for the December time, it has been quite a significant increase, and I have already made quite a lot more money than what I did in the first 3 months.
Cha-ching, well done, Bruce.
That's a good answer. Yeah.
No, definitely. If you have just joined us, we are getting towards the end of the coffee chat with Bruce. We're talking about the Airbnb strategy through Robin Booth's online course. If you are interested to find out more about the course that Bruce put himself through, Dave will pop the support at sfpropertynetwork.com email address, email Sapin, and we'll liaise with Robin, and we'll see if we can get you started with your journey. And just as a reminder, we are going to be going to Durban this week. And Bruce is the guest speaker on Thursday night, talking about a lot more about this subject in detail. So anyone out there in Umhlanga, Ballito, Durban, Domus event, and Pietermaritzburg Wednesday night or Thursday night at Tal Africa in Ballito. Let me just see, there's a few questions coming in here. Can you please ask, is there a way of if Bruce can assist in getting available units, so sourcing, I assume? Bruce, you're obviously sourcing for yourself, right? Do you ever come across stock that you could perhaps pass to other Sapin members, or not really?
So obviously there's a lot of stock. It depends on what your indicators are as well. But what I want to say is, if you're looking for people that can source your units, there are actually people that do that. And I think it's probably best. I'm sure that if they reached out to you on the Sapin network, you would be able to put them in touch with those people.
Definitely, yeah. Maybe there's a meeting WhatsApp group with a professional WhatsApp group, Lucky, or just drop us an email, Lucky, and we'll see if we can put you in touch with the right person and connect you. Okay, so before I ask Bruce, what is one thing that you'd like to leave our audience for today? Is there anything else there, Dave? Any questions? Anything from your side, Dave, or Dan, that you want to ask Bruce or say?
So the only other question I'm seeing that we could maybe spend a little more time on, but I do think we are a little pressed from time, is maybe, Bruce, why are you choosing to invest? Why are you choosing to do Airbnbs on the coast? Why is the coast part of your strategy? That's probably the only other question that's left from Miguel, but otherwise I think we're good. We haven't got anything else.
Okay, so I can answer that question quickly. So I actually really love the coast, specifically Durban. I always have. So for me, this was a matter of doing the Airbnb strategy, looking how that works out. I get to spend time there literally for free because guests pay for my unit, right? So I do spend a lot of time there. But besides for that, not just having a rent-to-rent model, but also looking how this process would work out to actually purchase the units there, and maybe even take advantage of the Airbnb strategy that way as well. So that was my main driver for the coastal region. And like I said, they had better returns than what inland did when I was analyzing at that point.
Yeah. Definitely. Okay, so Bruce, Dave, I don't see any other questions.
No, I think that's it. Yeah, I think it's good. It's good. There's good opportunity. I agree with Bruce on being coast-wise. Why have an Airbnb that you don't want to stay in?
Exactly. Yeah.
So Bruce, what is one thing you'd like to leave our audience today?
I think that for those people that do opt for the Airbnb course, right? Go through the course, implement the strategies exactly as they're given to you. Reach out to people that know if you need help. The strategies work, the processes will work, and if you do what you're told, you will make money. Right? Trust the process, you will make the money. Yeah.
Awesome,
Bruce.
Bruce, thank you so much for your time, and I can't wait to see you this week in Durban. So hopefully all the Durbanites, guys from Umhlanga, Ballito, Durban, Pietermaritzburg, they come watch you on Thursday night. Yourself and Marisha Robus will be there. talking around renovations and maintenance. It's going to be a power night at South Africa on Thursday night. Bruce, thank you so much for your time, man.
Yeah, thanks very much. Thanks, Andrew,
Awesome.
Dave, Daniel. Have a good
Awesome.
day.
Thanks,
Cheers.
See you soon.
Bye,
Cheers,
Bruce.
man. Some awesome content there and a conversation with Bruce, Sapin member, been with us for about, it's his third year, actually going into 4 years with us. If you want to know more about joining, let us know. This week we're in Durban, 2 weeks we're in Cape Town, and then we're in Port Elizabeth. Make sure that you come say hi to Dave, myself, Dan, at the relevant roadshows. Andre is replying. You'll be in Woodstock. Where are you in Woodstock? So Andre, you are in Cape Town. How do you register for the course? Email support at SA Property Network. Dave will pop the email address. So if you do want to do the course, drop us an email. Support at. Just drop us an email and we'll get you onto the course. No problem at all. But Dave, I think from my side, I think it's a great chat. Is there anything else from your side?
No, I think that's it. Just a reminder for the professional and youth members to get your registrations in for the Mastermind tomorrow, and we do have the sport event next week as well. So make sure you're registered ahead of time, just to make sure that we can get you a seats for those events. And yeah, looking forward to talking to everyone tomorrow night.
Awesome. Me too, Dave. I'll see you tomorrow at 6. Hopefully your load shedding is done at 6. And yeah.
Yeah, let's see who doesn't show up tomorrow.
Well, great weather show. He's going to do all the stuff.
You guys were lost without me. It's all good. Awesome, guys. We'll chat tomorrow.
Okay, lekker. Cheers, guys. See you.